Do you honestly believe that to earn more, you necessarily need to work longer hours, sacrifice your time, have a degree from a prestigious university, or simply wait for that indescribable big opportunity? What if this narrative, told to us for generations, is only a fraction of the truth? What if the most crucial piece of the prosperity puzzle isn't in the outer world, but in your inner universe? The truth, a truth that may be uncomfortable at first, but is immensely liberating, is that your financial results, every penny you earn and every penny you spend, are profoundly influenced by an invisible script. A script that runs in your mind 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like silent software. A script you didn't consciously write, but which today is directing the flow of every dollar that enters and leaves your life. In this video, we'll do more than just talk about it. We'll uncover what this script is, why it holds such overwhelming power over your prosperity, and most importantly, I'll show you the first practical and transformative steps, based on the teachings of one of the greatest and most practical masters of 20th century metaphysics, Florence Scovel Shinn, so you can finally take the keyboard of your own mind. So you can begin to erase the lines of code of scarcity and limitation and rewrite, with intention and clarity, your financial future. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover today has the potential to change not only your bank account balance, but the very essence of how you see your power to create reality. Asterisk. Asterisk. The connection. Diagnosing the invisible program. Asterisk. Asterisk. Have you ever felt like you're running on a financial treadmill, sweating profusely but never getting anywhere? You strive, work hard, follow all the rules you were told were necessary for success. You save, cut expenses, maybe even have a second job. But at the end of the month, the feeling is the same. A frustrating echo of not again. Money comes in and seems to already have an escape script, disappearing at a speed that borders on frightening. It's as if there's an invisible thermostat, a financial glass ceiling that no matter what you do or how high you try to jump, insists on keeping you at the same level as always. If you get a raise, an unexpected and urgent expense emerges from nowhere to consume it. If you manage to save a significant amount, the car breaks down or an essential appliance stops working. It's a frustrating and exhausting dance. One step forward, one step back. Have you ever really stopped to think why this happens? Why do some people who might seem to have less talent or apparently make less effort attract opportunities, promotions, and money with an ease that seems almost magical or even unfair? Of course, external factors like education, access to opportunities, and socio-economic context play an important role. We can't deny reality. But the answer we often ignore, the variable that can explain the glaring difference between effort and result, isn't out there. It resides in a much deeper and more powerful place. It's in your mind's operating system, your subconscious. Imagine your mind as a vast and fertile garden. Your conscious mind, that part of you that thinks, analyzes, sets goals, and makes decisions, is the gardener. The gardener wakes up in the morning, full of determination, and says, "Today I'm going to plant seeds of prosperity. I want a lush garden, with trees of abundance, flowers of success, and fruits of financial freedom." He reads books, watches videos, and is genuinely committed. But the soil, the deep and rich earth where everything actually germinates and grows, that's your subconscious mind. And what if this soil, over decades, has been filled with weeds, stones of doubt, and seeds of fear? What if these seeds were planted way back in your childhood, when you were just a child observing and absorbing the world, without the filter of critical thinking? These weeds are limiting beliefs. They're ideas, phrases, and attitudes we absorbed as absolute truths, often coming from people we loved and deeply trusted. Parents, grandparents, teachers. Think honestly about what you heard about money when you were a child. Try to remember not just the words but the emotion behind them. Worry, fear, anger, phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," implying it's something unnatural and difficult to obtain. "You have to sweat a lot to earn any penny," associating money with suffering and struggle. Rich people are either greedy, dishonest, or lucky, creating a moral barrier to wealth. "You need to save for the hard days," a phrase that by itself programs the mind to manifest hard days, so the belief proves true. That's not for our kind. Establishing an invisible ceiling on what you can or cannot have. It's better to be poor and happy than rich and sad, creating a false dichotomy that forces you to choose between happiness and prosperity. Each of these phrases, said with emotional charge and repeated over the years, became a seed that your subconscious, like a loyal and obedient servant, accepted without question. The subconscious has no sense of humor, doesn't analyze, doesn't judge what's good or bad for you. Its function is simple and powerful: accept the seed given to it and use all its power to make it grow. If the dominant seed it received was life is a constant struggle for money, it will masterfully create struggle situations to prove the belief is correct and keep you safe and coherent with your programming. If the seed was money is scarce and always lacking, it will ensure you experience scarcity, making you ignore opportunities or sabotage the ones that appear. That's why conscious effort and willpower alone are often not enough. The gardener, conscious mind, can spend all day trying to plant roses, but if the soil subconscious mind is chemically programmed to cultivate cacti and thorns, guess what will prevail in the end? Research suggests that up to 95% of our mental processing, our reactions, habits, and emotions happen on subconscious autopilot. You can consciously decide, from today, I want more prosperity. But if the subconscious program, running in the background, says that having a lot of money is dangerous, I'm not good enough to be rich, or if I earn more, I'll lose my friends, that program will sabotage your best efforts in subtle and creative ways. It will make you feel inexplicable discomfort when negotiating a raise. It will give you an irresistible impulse to spend that extra money you just earned on something superfluous. It will create a paralyzing fear of investing or starting that business you dream about. The subconscious acts to protect you, keeping you aligned with your deepest and most ingrained beliefs, even if those beliefs are keeping you exactly where you consciously no longer want to be. Your current financial reality is not a reflection of your worth as a person. It's a perfect mirror of your internal programming, its feedback. And the good news, the news that completely changes the rules of the game, is that you can become the master gardener. You can consciously uproot the weeds and plant, deliberately and consistently, the seeds you really want to harvest. And this is exactly where the timeless wisdom of a woman who decoded this process over a century ago comes in. The revelation, the game of life, and the magic wand. In the early 20th century, during a time of great transformations, a remarkable woman named Florence Scovel Shinn began teaching a radically different and empowering truth. Born in 1871 in Camden, New Jersey, Florence wasn't a traditional guru or formal academic. She was an artist, a successful illustrator for popular magazines and books, a woman with a sharp sense of humor, down to earth, and an incredibly practical view of spirituality. Coming from a family with roots in American history, she studied at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, where she met her husband, fellow artist Everett Shinn. For years she lived immersed in New York's art world. After a divorce and deep inner searching, she delved into metaphysical studies and the New Thought movement, which postulates that our thoughts create our reality. She began teaching and counseling people, and her approach was so direct and transformative that in 1925, unable to find a publisher who would bet on her ideas, she self-published her first book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. The central premise was revolutionary for its time and remains so today. Life is not a battle to be fought with suffering, but a game to be played with wisdom, and like every game, there are rules. If you learn and apply the rules, you can and should win. Florence taught that the fundamental rule, the axis around which the entire game of life revolves, is this: your imagination and especially your words are the divine tools that shape your existence. She declared simply and powerfully, your word is your magic wand. Think about the depth contained in this simple metaphor. A magic wand, in fairy tales, transforms the invisible into visible with a simple declaration, a command. Florence taught that our words, spoken with feeling and conviction, function identically, because they are a direct command to our powerful servant, the subconscious mind. Remember what we've already established: the subconscious doesn't argue, doesn't debate, it just executes. When you say, even jokingly or out of habit, I never have enough money, or everything is so expensive, I can't buy anything, your subconscious mind hears a clear command: order received, not having enough money, initiating scarcity protocol, and then it diligently influences your perception, so you only see lack, feel anxiety when money approaches, and take actions that validate that order. On the other hand, when you deliberately begin using words of prosperity and abundance, you're giving new and powerful commands. You're literally rewriting the source code of your reality. Florence wasn't referring to vague and powerless positive thinking. She spoke of declarations of faith. An affirmation for her isn't merely wishing something were true, it's declaring with authority that it's already true in the invisible plane, the plane of causes, the superconscious mind, which she described as the mind of God within each person, which in turn inspires and compels the necessary actions in the physical plane for manifestation to occur. She saw imagination as the scissors of the mind. Every moment, whether you want it or not, these scissors are cutting out mental images. If you constantly worry about debts, your mental scissors cut out images of bills, lack, anxiety, and collections. These images, charged with emotion, are impressed on the subconscious, which in turn works tirelessly to manifest them in your physical world. Imagination is a neutral creative force. It will build whatever you keep in focus. Training it to focus on the good, health, success, and abundance already realized is one of the greatest secrets to playing the game of life well. Another fundamental pillar of her teaching is the law of non-resistance. Florence said that actively resisting a negative situation only gives it more power and anchors it more firmly in your life. It's like fighting quicksand. The more you struggle, the faster you sink. If you hate your lack of money, curse your debts, and talk about them all the time with anger and resentment, you're feeding that reality with your precious emotional energy, fixing it even more in place. Mastery, according to Shinn, comes from a radical attitude blessing the situation, knowing that within it, however adverse it may seem, there's a lesson or growth opportunity. Blessing an enemy or a debt doesn't mean agreeing with them, but rather withdrawing your emotional power over you, neutralizing the negativity. This attitude of non-resistance, a form of radical acceptance of what is, disarms the energy of the problem and opens a space for infinite intelligence to present a solution. Florence Scovel Shinn's genius was taking profound metaphysical concepts, found in sacred texts from around the world, and making them incredibly practical and accessible. She didn't just give us the philosophy, she gave us the instruction manual for our own creative power. Now, let's learn to use this manual, step by step, to build a new financial reality. The proof: first steps to financial reprogramming. Understanding the theory is the crucial first step. But true transformation, the kind that changes your bank account and your life, happens in consistent practice. Reprogramming the subconscious mind is like creating a new trail in a dense forest. At first it requires effort, attention, and repetition to clear the way. But the more you travel this new trail, the clearer, wider, and easier it becomes, until it transforms into the standard automatic path. Let's detail the first 3 practical steps, inspired directly by Florence Scovel Shinn's teachings, for you to begin your reprogramming today. Step 1. Archaeology of the mind. Excavate, identify, and neutralize limiting beliefs. You can't change a software program if you don't know it's running on your computer. The first step, therefore, is to become a fearless archaeologist of your own mind. Take paper and pen, or open a text document. The physical act of writing takes thoughts out of your head, where they seem abstract and powerful, and makes them concrete objects you can analyze and confront. Now, answer with the most brutal honesty, without judgments. 1. What did your parents, grandparents, or authority figures in your childhood say about money? Try to remember exact phrases, tone of voice, arguments. Money is dirty, we never have enough, we have to work until we die for a pittance. Rich people don't go to heaven. Write down absolutely everything that comes to memory. 2. Complete these sentences with the first thing that comes to mind, without filters. Rich people are arrogant, lonely, exploitative, lucky, more intelligent. Money is the root of all evil, neutral energy, hard to get, dangerous freedom. For me to have more money, I would have to sacrifice my health, work 16 hours a day, step on someone, be luckier, abandon my passion. Having a lot of money would make me feel guilty, anxious, powerful, insecure, relieved. 3. What is your biggest and deepest fear regarding money? Is it the fear of not having enough to survive? The fear of losing what you've already worked so hard to achieve? The fear of what others will think of you if you become rich? Or perhaps the fear of the responsibility and pressure that wealth can bring? Now, look at your list. Take a deep breath. These are not universal truths. They're just programs. They're the weeds you've identified in your garden. The simple act of bringing these beliefs from the darkness of the subconscious to the light of consciousness already begins to take away their power. For each belief you identified, read it aloud and declare firmly, "This is just a belief I learned in the past. It is not my truth." I thank it for the protection it tried to offer me, and now, I release it with love. Step 2. The architecture of reality, building your new power affirmation. After identifying and neutralizing the energy of the old belief, you need to replace it with a new instruction, clear and powerful. This is done through affirmations, which are declarations of faith and commands to the subconscious. To be effective, an affirmation according to Shinn's principles needs to follow some golden rules. Be in present tense. The subconscious only understands and operates in the now. Saying, I will be rich, keeps wealth perpetually in the future. You need to declare as if it were already an accomplished reality. Instead of I want to have abundance, say I am abundance itself in manifestation here and now. Be unshakably positive. The subconscious doesn't process the word no. Well, if you affirm I don't want to have debts anymore, your mind's energetic focus continues to be on debts. You must affirm what you want, not what you don't want. Say, instead, I am free from debt and all my obligations are paid. My prosperity is unlimited and flows to me now. Have emotional charge. Emotion is the fuel that propels the affirmation to the depths of the subconscious. Repeating a phrase mechanically has very little effect. You need to feel the truth of it in your body. Conviction is the bridge that carries the affirmation from the conscious to the subconscious mind. Now, for each key limiting belief on your list, create a powerful corrective affirmation. For example, if the belief was money is hard to get, your new affirmation can be money flows to me from expected and unexpected sources, easily and constantly. I am a magnet for divine abundance. If the belief was I don't deserve to be rich, the new affirmation can be prosperity is my divine birthright. I accept it now with joy, love, and immense gratitude. If the belief was rich people are dishonest, the new affirmation can be I am a force for good in the world, and my prosperity blesses me, my family, and many other people. Shinn told the story of a woman who paid her bills with fear and resentment, and saw her money decrease more and more. Florence advised her to change the action and affirmation. When paying each bill, she should affirm, I have the magic purse of the spirit. It can never be depleted. As soon as money goes out, it returns immediately. It is always overflowing with abundance. This simple parable perfectly illustrates how changing from a feeling of fear and loss to one of faith and abundant expectation can alter our perception and, consequently, our actions and results. Choose 1 or 2 affirmations that deeply resonate with you. Write them on cards, on the bathroom mirror, as phone alarms. Put them where you can see and repeat them every day. Step 3. The practice of repetition with faith incorporating the new reality. This is where magic meets discipline. Persistent repetition charged with faith is what effectively engraves a new belief in the fertile soil of the subconscious. Strategic daily practice. Dedicate 2 periods of 5 to 10 minutes daily to your affirmations, mandatory right upon waking and immediately before sleeping. During these moments, brain waves are in a slower state alpha, and the veil between conscious and subconscious mind is thinner, making it extremely receptive to new suggestions. Sit, breathe deeply, relax your body, and repeat your affirmation aloud, with feeling and conviction. Try to feel what it would be like if it were already 100% real. Feel the joy, freedom, peace, security. The law of constant substitution. During the day, your old programming, like a stubborn enemy, will try to return. A thought of doubt or fear will arise. The exact moment you perceive it, use the law of substitution. Don't fight, don't resist the negative thought. Just calmly and firmly substitute it with your positive affirmation. Each time you do this, you weaken the old neural pathway of scarcity and strengthen the new pathway of abundance. Act as if it were true. Begin to act as if your prosperity were already an accomplished fact. This doesn't mean spending money you don't have irresponsibly. It means adopting the mentality and posture of the prosperous person you're becoming. Pay a bill with gratitude for the abundance that allowed that service, not with resentment. Leave a slightly larger tip, with the silent thought that there's always more where that came from. Organize your wallet. Treat your bills and coins with respect. These small actions send powerful signals of congruence to your subconscious saying, see, the new programming is real. Gratitude and visualization as accelerators. Enhance the entire process with the highest emotion, gratitude. Gratitude is the frequency of abundance already received. It's chemically impossible to feel fear and gratitude at the same time. Before sleeping, after your affirmations, Create a short, vivid, and exciting scene in your mind that implies your desire has already been fulfilled. See yourself looking at your bank statement with a smile of relief and joy. Feel the emotion of donating a large amount to a cause you love. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between a lived experience and a vividly imagined one. It accepts this image as a memory and begins working to align your reality with it. This three-step process, excavate, rebuild, and repeat with faith, is the beginning of your journey to become the master of your mind, and consequently, the master of your prosperity. It's not a magical overnight solution, but it is a real, deep, and lasting solution. So here we are. But this is by no means the end of our conversation. It's the great beginning of your transformation. What we discovered together today is one of the most liberating truths of existence. Your financial situation is not an immutable destiny, but a direct reflection of your inner world. Your bank balance isn't dictated only by the economy, your boss, or luck. It is largely the result of the orders you consciously or unconsciously have been giving to the most powerful and loyal servant in the universe, your subconscious mind. For years, perhaps decades, you may have unknowingly fed this mind with seeds of fear, doubt, and limitation, and it, in its unquestionable fidelity, manifested that reality for you. But from this exact moment, everything can change. You now have the key in your hands. You understand the mechanism. You have the first practical and effective steps, inspired by Florence Scovel Shinn's timeless wisdom, to begin giving new orders. Orders of infinite abundance, divine success, joy, and financial freedom. Always remember, and let this echo in your mind, your word is your magic wand. Use it with wisdom. Use it with conviction. Use it with faith. Use it to build your kingdom, first in the powerful workshop of your imagination, and then as an inevitable consequence in your material reality. If this video ignited a spark of hope and power in you, know that our work together is just beginning. If you're ready to go deeper and really commit to this transformation, do two things right now. First, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. We'll continue exploring these profound principles with more techniques and stories, so we can grow and prosper together. Second, and this is your first deliberate action step, your first public declaration, go to the comments section and share. Comment on which specific limiting belief you discovered about yourself today, and which powerful faith-filled affirmation you're going to use to replace it. By sharing, you not only reinforce your own commitment to change, but also create a wave of inspiration, possibly being the light another person needed to begin their own journey. The power to create the prosperous life you desire has always been there, dormant within you, patiently waiting for your new instructions. Start today. Start now. Declare your prosperity.